Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new Star Rail theory and speculation video. Today, I want to talk about the path of the Finality and its Aeon, Terminus. They are one of the most unique Aeons, and they have a few different groups of followers, including the Omen Vanguards, the Exequy, and even the Stellaron Hunters. Now, this video does contain spoilers for the quest listed on screen now, so if you haven't done those, you have been warned. With all that said though, let's get right into the video. Terminus is an Aeon that is quite different from every other Aeon that we know of so far in the lore of Star Rail. It is said that this Aeon moves backwards in time, murmuring about a prophecy that is destined to be fulfilled. As such, their past is our future, and their future is our past, which is definitely not going to make things confusing in the future. They have been given the nickname of the One Against the Current, which definitely fits their ability to move backwards through time. They are said to appear at every moment of finality in the universe, bringing prophecies of the future. From their perspective though, they are simply bringing records of the past. According to Exequy, they are supposedly the end of the other Aeons and their paths. They cause amber to rupture, immortality to wither, music to mute, light arrows to dim, the dark sun to be reduced to ashes, the tavern to be covered in dust, and they can even bring destruction to the destruction. With this in mind, it's safe to say that they have the potential to be one of the most dangerous yet helpful Aeons. Since they come from the future, at least in our perspective, they have knowledge of events that we haven't yet experienced. They would be able to give us some hints about future events, just like the prophecies they are said to bring. Now, despite the title of their path, it is actually said that finality is not the end of everything. All things will originate from the finality and move on to the next finality in a never-ending cycle. Basically, while certain things may end, the universe will live on and give rise to new stories as time flows on. As I mentioned in the intro, the path of the finality has quite a few different factions that follow it. These include the Omen Vanguards, the Exequy, and the most well-known of them all, the Stellaron Hunters. So let's talk more about these three factions and what finality means to each of them. To start off, I want to talk about the Omen Vanguards. The Omen Vanguards believe that Terminus represents the end of the universe. They are dedicated to drawing prophecies from Terminus's obscure words to find out more about the future. At the moment though, not much is actually known about this faction. We haven't met anyone from this faction as of the making of this video, but we do know a bit about their history. It is implied that this faction was founded by Exequy, who was actually a former navigator of the Astral Express crew. He traveled on the Astral Express during the fall of Akavili the Trailblaze and the birth of Nanook the Destruction. After stepping down from his position as navigator, the Omen Vanguards began appearing in the universe. Later on, in 2147 Amber Era, the Omen Vanguards would be one of the factions who fought against the IPC for Penacony's freedom. It is said that they fought against Hanune, the founder of the Bloodhound family and inspiration for Brother Hanu. In modern times, the Omen Vanguards seem to be on better terms with the IPC. Recently, they warned the IPC of the silicon-eating bacteria that had infested the world of Mollis II, additionally informing them that the creatures would soon appear on the world of Sigmar III as well. Thanks to their information, the Intelligentsia Guild was able to look into the matter of the bacteria, and they were able to confirm the danger that they posed. Currently, the IPC is attempting to warn the mechanical leaders of Sigmar III of the incoming threat. It seems that I'll also have to avoid those planets for now as well. Similar to the Omen Vanguards, not much is known about the Exequy. It is said that their members await their once-in-a-lifetime encounter with Terminus, searching for any way to make it happen. Unlike the other two factions of the Finality, the Exequy seems more focused on the past instead of the future. They search for ways to make their encounter with Terminus happen by looking at past events, as seen with Exequy. She runs the Apocalyptic Shadow game mode in Dreamflux Reef, and she is the only member of this faction that we have met so far. In fact, most of the information about Terminus that I stated earlier actually comes from her dialogue. As for why she runs the Apocalyptic Shadow, she wishes to look for traces of Terminus in the experiences of the Trailblazers' deadly struggles. After all, she likely wants to meet Terminus at some point, and our previous fights could help her with that. I'm hoping that at some point in the future, Exequy will give us even more information about Terminus. To me, the most important of all the factions that follow the finality would be the Stellaron Hunters. They are one of the most prominent factions in all of Star Rail's story so far, and we even have 4 playable Stellaron Hunters at the moment. However, they were only revealed to be following the path of the finality during a conversation between Jade and Firefly in version 2.3. Still, this path does make a lot of sense for them when you consider what their leader, Elio, can do. He possesses the ability, or curse, to foresee future possibilities, something that sounds quite similar to Terminus. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Elio ended up being an emanator of the finality, with his ability coming directly from Terminus themselves. Anyways, Elio uses his scripts and the Stellaron Hunters to shape the future that he wants. He was responsible for recruiting all of the Stellaron Hunters that we know so far, and he also allowed the Trailblazer to travel together with Kafka before the events of the game. He also concocted the plan of bringing the Astral Express crew to the Xianzhou Luofu. He knows that the Trailblazer will inevitably have to face Nanook the Destruction in the future, so he brought the crew to the Luofu in order for them to gain new allies. Despite how impressive his abilities are, their powers are not limitless. According to Sam, Acheron is not at all mentioned in Elio's script. This could be because Acheron is an emanator of Nihility, which would align with what we know about the Nihility as a path. Interestingly though, Acheron does know about Elio, even referring to him as Destiny's slave. Getting back on track though, it seems that Elio's overall goal is to see the end of Nanook the Destruction. This would explain his interest in Stellarons and the Trailblazer, and would also explain why he wants to give them more allies to help fight Nanook in the future. With all of this considered, it's pretty obvious that the Stellaron Hunters will definitely play more roles in the future of the story. We have a lot to learn from them, and they could definitely help us get more allies as time goes on. Now then, let's talk about how Terminus and the finality as a whole could influence the future of Star Rail. First off, I definitely believe that the finality will be one of the more important paths as the story continues. After all, the Stellaron Hunters follow the finality, and they are already quite an important faction in the story. As for the other factions of the finality, they could definitely be important too. The Omen Vanguards could help decipher future events through the prophecies hidden in Terminus's obscure words. If we get into contact with them, we could learn about certain disasters that may happen in the future, and we could help stop them from happening. By stopping these disasters, we would be able to gain even more allies, allowing us to have more help against Nanook. As for the Creed Exequy, I think that they may be more of a background faction. Their members seem to focus more on finding Terminus in the first place, and they tend to focus on the past more than they do the future. Exequy only looks through information in our past conflicts, not telling us anything about our potential future conflicts. Of course, Elio will also be a big part of the game's future. While he may not make an in-game appearance until much later on, we could still get plenty of hints about him as we travel from world to world. Since Terminus is said to be the end of other Aeons and paths, they will definitely be important in the upcoming war amongst the Aeons. When this happens, the Stellaron Hunters, the Omen Vanguards, and even the Creed Exequy could step into the story's spotlight. Perhaps Terminus themselves could even make an appearance, marking the finality of the destruction. Anyways, that's pretty much it for my thoughts on Terminus the Finality. This Aeon is super mysterious, and I really hope we get to learn more about them at some point soon. If you want more lore about the Aeons of Star Rail though, I recommend my videos on Mythos the Enigmata, Ouroboros the Veracity, and Adrilla the Beauty. I would love to hear what ideas you all have for Terminus and the finality in the comments below as well. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Sources and further readings are also in the description if you want to check them out. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you all in the next video.